Hello there. So March is Autoimmune Disease Awareness Month, and I did a kind of back to basics video yesterday on ankylosing spondylitis. But I thought because it's Awareness Month for all autoimmune diseases, I will kind of do a rough video on what is an autoimmune disease. So let's start from the beginning. Nice back to basics. Let's give you some examples of autoimmune diseases. So you've got ankylosing spondylitis, which is what I've got. You've got things like Addison's, celiac, Graves' disease, Hashimoto's, MS, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, type 1 diabetes, Crohn's, psoriasis, and psoriatic arthritis, just to name just a handful off the top of my written down piece of paper in front of me. So it gives you an idea of how kind of broad these autoimmune diseases are. There's a lot more than I've just given you examples for. Last count, I think it was, in the hundreds. I don't know whether it's lots of hundreds or just, 101 or whatever, but they are in the hundreds. There's lots of different types. But they're all common in the same way that they belong to your autoimmune system, and they play havoc with your autoimmune system. What they do with the autoimmune system can be different in different ways. So for example, type 1 diabetes has the insulin blood sugar levels issue. Crohn's has the bowels issue. Ankylosing spondylitis has the spinal fusing issue. So a lot of their sort of main symptoms, should we call them, are different, but they all affect different parts of the body. So what does an autoimmune disease do? I'm glad you asked. So what it does is your immune system is kind of broken. It destroys healthy tissue, cells, that sort of thing, by mistake. It thinks that there can be external kind of nasties in your body, like viruses, bacteria, anything like that. And what these viruses and bacteria have inside them are something called antigens. So remember that word, antigens. And your immune system, normally, it creates something called antibodies, which, if you look at the word antibody, it means that it shouldn't be in your body. And that's kind of the best way of looking at it. That's how I look at it anyway. Now, these antibodies that your immune system fight against the antigens, which come from the bacteria and that sort of thing. So what your immune system does is come along, antigen, off you go, mate, out of your system, comes out through, how you go to the toilet or whatever, things like that. And that's it. Job done. Your immune system is there to do its job. Now, someone with an autoimmune disease means that the antibodies that the immune system creates cannot tell the difference between the antigens and good stuff in your body. So it thinks that, whether there might not be any antigens in your body, you might have a completely clean, detoxed body, but your immune system is going to go, hang on a minute, I think you've got a bad kneecap. I'm going to go and cure that, or I'm going to go and send the antibodies down there to do a fisticuffs with what it thinks are antigens, but they're not antigens. So what does it do fisticuffs with? Your kneecap and the joint around your knee, for example. So what can it attack? I hear you ask again. You're asking all the right questions. Okay, so it can attack your joints, organs, nasty. You'd think your brain's an organ, nasty, nasty. Connective tissue, like your muscles, can get those. And I think it's the biggest organ in the body. Skin. It can get your skin. So things like psoriatic arthritis and psoriasis, closely linked, I think. Don't know. Is like you get the sort of skin issues and what have you. So it attacks basically the wrong things. It's simple as that. Your immune system doesn't work. So it can create symptoms like your body's constantly fighting inside. So a lot of these create very, very similar symptoms as well as their own unique symptoms. So, for example, fatigue is the massive one. It's, across the board, I think, fatigue is a real big one. Pain, swelling, inflammation. Pain is another biggie. There's things that, if you've got an issue with your heel joint, for example, or connective tissue around your heel or knee or something like that, and you want to walk on it, it's constantly in pain. You step, it's painful. Your hip, I've got an issue with my hip. It's got damage within the joint now, in the sacroiliac joint. It's irreparable. So every step I take hurts, especially on the left side. And I've also got damage in the cervical spine as well. So when I twist the top part of my body, it can go one way a certain amount and less way the other way around, basically. But each time I get to that point, it really hurts. So pain is a massive one. Now, there are obviously drugs, medication, treatment, that sort of thing out there. Each one has its, each autoimmune disease has kind of its own set of treatments, depending on what you have. The treatment can be very, very different. Some of these can progress faster than others. Some of these can progress really slowly. Some of them can progress like that and then even out, but at a bad point. So there's no hard and fast rule about how someone gets it and then it affects them. Everybody's different. So it's a very interesting topic in that it's so different. Every single day is different. And then you meet people with the same thing that you've got and you're like, oh, how are you doing today? Totally different to you. It's so weird, but there it is. So that's it for kind of this video. What is an autoimmune disease? I hope you found it helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments of what I've said. If you've got any of those diseases, how it affects you, what if you do different types of treatment, medication, stuff like that. Just let us know and see what how we all compare, kind of thing. And I'm sure it'll be interesting. Alrighty, have a good one. See you later.